Unlock your potential is a lie? What? They don't want you to know. What if I told you that everything you've been taught about unlocking your potential is actually the exact code keeping you locked in a digital prison of endless consumption? You're about to hack into the most guarded secret of the self-improvement industry. If you've ever felt like incomplete software waiting for an upgrade that never comes, buckle up because you're about to discover the truth that will completely rewrite your mental programming. The "Be More" scam: how they programmed you to stay forever unsatisfied. Every single second, millions of minds across America receive the same digital virus. You need to be more. This isn't some random bug in the system, it's malicious code deliberately planted. As a mind hacker analyzing corrupted lines of code, I'm about to show you exactly how this programming is sabotaging your internal circuits. The first algorithm that infects your brain is perpetual inadequacy. Here's how it works. Every time you feel contentment, the system triggers a notification: update available. This message never stops. It's like antivirus software that identifies your natural happiness as a threat and forces you to download infinite improvement patches. The diabolical genius of this code lies in its subtlety. It doesn't directly tell you you're a failure. Instead, it whispers, "You have so much untapped potential." Sounds positive, right? But it's actually emotional ransomware that hijacks your self-worth and demands constant payments in the form of courses, books, and coaching programs. The result is a complete system overload in your life's operating system. You're running multiple processes simultaneously: social comparison, performance analysis, external validation seeking. Your mental CPU hits 100% usage, generating emotional overheating, anxiety, crashes, and self-confidence. Blue screens of death. American culture has weaponized this perfectly. We're told from childhood that we're all destined for greatness, that we're all special snowflakes with unlimited potential. But here's the twisted psychology: if everyone has unlimited potential, then not maximizing yours makes you a failure. It's the ultimate catch-22 that keeps therapists' offices full and self-help gurus rich. The real digital revolution isn't about adding more programs to your life. It's about doing a deep system cleanup, removing the parasitic software that's draining your vital energy. When you uninstall the compulsive need for optimization, something extraordinary happens. You discover you were already running perfectly. Think about your smartphone. When you first got it, it was fast, efficient, responsive. But over time, you installed app after app, each promising to make your life better. Now, your phone is slow, the battery drains quickly, and you're constantly managing storage space. Your personal development journey works exactly the same way. Your first mind hacking mission: create a native resources file. For 1 week, document daily 3 capabilities you already possess and use naturally, without needing any upgrade. Maybe it's your ability to make people laugh, solve practical problems, or feel genuine empathy. This file will be your proof that the system is already complete. The code for real transformation isn't about becoming someone different, it's about recognizing and fully executing who you already are. When you accept your current version as the definitive version, something magical happens. You stop wasting energy seeking updates and start using all your processing power to create, connect, and contribute. If this concept is rewriting your mental programming, type "system complete" in the comments. Hit that like button if you're ready to stop seeking external upgrades, and subscribe to keep receiving digital liberation codes. Your identity hijacked: why you became a product of your own life. Now that you've identified the inadequacy virus, it's time to install the most advanced protection system ever created: the authenticity firewall. But first, I need to warn you about the most sophisticated malware ever created by the personal growth industry: the potential tracker. This spyware operates in the shadows, collecting data on your dreams, fears, and aspirations. It maps your emotional vulnerability points and sells this information to marketing algorithms that bombard you with personalized solutions. The potential tracker doesn't want you to be free, it wants you to be a predictable and profitable consumer. The architecture of this system is brilliant in its cruelty. It creates an infinite loop where each solution purchased generates new problems to be solved. It's like corrupt antivirus software that creates its own viruses to justify its existence. You buy a confidence course, but it makes you realize you also need to work on productivity. You fix productivity, but discover you need emotional intelligence, and so on, infinitely. This is peak American capitalism applied to your psychology. We've turned personal growth into a subscription service where you never actually own the final product. You're always renting self-improvement, never buying self-acceptance. It's Netflix for neuroses, and you're binge-watching your own inadequacy. The impact of this malware on your mental health is devastating. You develop a digital dependency on external validation, where your self-esteem becomes hostage to artificial metrics. How many likes? How many followers? How many certifications? How many achievements? Your life transforms into a performance dashboard that never shows satisfactory numbers. But there's a powerful antidote to this virus: installing your internal GPS. Unlike external navigation systems that take you where they want you to go, your authentic GPS guides you to where you genuinely need to be. It doesn't promise glamorous destinations, it shows you the truest path. The first step to activate this GPS is running a complete scan of your real desires, not the desires implanted by social algorithms. This means distinguishing between, I want this because it genuinely resonates with me, and I want this because everyone says it's important. Here's what most Americans don't realize: we've been programmed to want things that make us good consumers, not good humans. We chase lifestyles that look good on Instagram but feel empty in real life. We pursue careers that impress others but drain our souls. We build relationships that boost our status but starve our hearts. Your second hacking mission: create an authentic desires log. For 1 week, whenever you feel a desire or ambition, pause and ask yourself, is this impulse coming from my core or from my social programming? Only log desires that pass this authenticity test. You'll be surprised by how few, but how powerful, your real goals actually are. Digital freedom isn't about having more options, it's about knowing exactly which options actually matter to you. When you install the authenticity firewall, you stop being hacked by external influences and start operating from your original source code. The beautiful irony is that when you stop trying to be everything to everyone, you become something meaningful to yourself. When you quit the performance, you start the real show. When you delete the fake version, the authentic version finally has room to run. If you're feeling your true identity being restored, type GPS active in the comments. Hit like if this firewall is blocking toxic influences, and stay connected to the channel for more digital security updates. The invisible prison of approval: how to escape the addiction to pleasing everyone. I've detected critical malware in your social operating system, the always on display. This virus transforms your entire life into a live stream where you can never stop performing. It's like being trapped in an invisible reality show, where imaginary cameras record every move, word, and decision you make. The always on display is the most insidious ransomware ever created. It kidnaps your naturalness and demands constant payments in the form of social validation. Every post, every choice, every conversation becomes calculated to generate approval. You stop living your life and start producing content for an audience that exists more in your head than in reality. This virus programming is diabolically efficient. It installs constant monitoring widgets in your mental interface. What will they think? How will this look? Am I being judged? These processes run in the background, consuming your emotional CPU and leaving little processing power available for genuine experiences. American culture has perfected this psychological torture. We're the nation that invented social media, influencer culture, and the monetization of authenticity. We've turned being human into being a brand. Every American walks around with an invisible marketing department in their head, constantly asking, how can we spin this? What's our angle? How does this fit our narrative? The result is existential system overload. You develop multiple personas and optimized version for each social context. The problem is that maintaining so many different versions of yourself simultaneously overloads your identity's RAM. The system crashes, and you lose connection to who you actually are. This virus is especially cruel because it hacks your reward system. Every like, every compliment, every external approval triggers a dopamine hit, creating digital validation addiction. You become hooked on the drug of others' approval, needing increasingly larger doses to feel the same effect. The performance virus thrives on American individualism twisted into performative individualism. We're told to be ourselves, but only if that self is marketable, inspirational, and Instagram-ready. Authentic self-expression gets filtered through the lens of, will this personal brand strategy work? But there's a radical solution. Disable public mode and activate private mode. This doesn't mean isolating yourself, it means operating from your default settings, not the version edited for public consumption. When you turn off the imaginary cameras, something magical happens. You rediscover the pure pleasure of existing without needing to document or justify it. Your third hacking mission: execute the offline protocol. For 24 hours, make decisions based exclusively on what you feel, not what others will think. Wear what makes you comfortable, not what impresses. Eat what satisfies you, what looks healthy. Say what you think, not what sounds smart. Document how it feels to operate in private mode. True freedom isn't having an audience for your achievements, it's achieving things that complete you, even when nobody's watching. When you disable the always-on display, you stop being an influencer of your own life and return to being its protagonist. Real power isn't about impressing others, it's about expressing yourself authentically. When you remove the performance virus, you discover that your unedited version is infinitely more interesting than any manufactured persona. If you're ready to go offline and start living in private mode, type private mode in the comments. Show approval. If you want to uninstall the performance virus, and stay tuned to the channel for more digital liberation codes. The ultimate freedom hack: how to live without needing external validation. We've reached the system core. After removing the inadequacy virus, installing the authenticity firewall, and disabling performance mode, now we're going to completely rewrite your source code. Prepare to discover the most revolutionary algorithm ever developed: independent self-actualization. The personal development industry has infected our culture with devastating malware. The belief that success is a product that can be downloaded from external sources. They've sold us the idea that universal formulas exist, happiness templates that work for everyone. It's like trying to run the same software on completely different machines. It doesn't work, and it corrupts the original system. Your factory settings already came with everything you need for a fulfilling life. The problem is we've been convinced to install so many add-ons, plugins, and extensions that we've lost access to native functionality. Like a smartphone that gets slow because it has too many unnecessary apps running simultaneously. The real upgrade isn't additive, it's subtractive. Every program you uninstall, every external expectation you delete, every unnecessary validation you remove, frees up more space for your original operating system to run at maximum speed. America has turned self-improvement into a trillion-dollar industry built on a fundamental lie, that you're broken and need fixing. We've created a culture where feeling complete without external achievement is considered lazy, where self-acceptance without constant growth is labeled complacency. It's psychological capitalism at its most predatory. Here's the most powerful code you can execute: accepting that you're already a complete and functional system, not a beta version waiting for updates, not a defective product needing patches. You are the final release, running exactly as designed. When you stop seeking external completeness and recognize internal wholeness, something extraordinary happens. You stop wasting energy trying to be someone else and channel all that power into fully expressing who you are. It's the difference between trying to run incompatible software and optimizing the program you already have. Genuine fulfillment doesn't come from conquering things, it comes from expressing your essence without interference from social viruses. It's like a musician who stops trying to sound like other artists and finally discovers their unique sound. The result is infinitely more authentic and impactful. Think about the American dream for a moment. We've been sold this idea that success means constantly climbing, constantly achieving, constantly becoming more. But what if the real American dream is the freedom to be exactly who you are without apology? What if liberation isn't about reaching some external destination, but about arriving at internal peace? Your final programming mission: create your personal system manifesto. Write a digital declaration of independence where you define, in your own words, what success, happiness, and fulfillment mean in your particular universe. Don't copy definitions from books or influencers. Extract these answers from your original source code. This manifesto will be your new operating system. Every major decision will pass through this filter. Is this aligned with my authentic programming, or is it an external virus trying to install itself? When you have clarity about your own code, it becomes impossible to be hacked by someone else's agenda. The most important digital revolution isn't happening in smartphones, it's happening in minds that discover how to operate independently from the cloud of social approval. You don't need connection to the internet of external validation to function fully. Your system already has everything installed. Your only job is removing the bloatware that's preventing optimized performance. When you completely clean your emotional hard drive and reinstall only essential programs, you discover you were always a perfect machine. If you just discovered that your original operating system is more powerful than any external update, type "original system" in the comments. Confirm your approval. If you're ready to run on your authentic configuration and stay connected to continue receiving liberation codes, share this reprogramming with someone who also needs to discover they're already a complete system.